I mentioned earlier, David did the groundwork and the footwork to get our speaker today. He has to take a little vacation, and he's enjoying himself out in the western half of the United States. So he asked me to slip in and take his place for introductions. I don't think that Joy and Dickie need much of an introduction. I think most everybody, even if you don't know them, you certainly know what their work is or has been for the last, I guess, 13 years or so now. But Joy, I believe, is a native of Montgomery, and Dickie came from Georgia, but moved on over to Montgomery after pharmacy school. Owned a couple pharmacies here in Montgomery, and even had a few pizza joints back in the day. But they have come together, and one of the things that I think is really, I guess, unique to their motivation for this, aside from the fact that Joy is someone who suffered from cancer and survived, but their motivation even before that was very similar to our motto of service above self, and that is that they believe that it's not how well you do in life, but how well you do by others. And so I think they're doing a great job of living through that. So I'm going to let them come up and tell us a little bit about what they want us to hear about Joy to Life.
Thank y'all so much. This is great to be here. David Sykes told me y'all were the fun club, and you are. Especially anybody that'll wear a t-shirt that says "Real Men Wear Pink." I love it.
I'm doubt about my manhood.
I'm going to just briefly tell you a little about my story and how we got started, and then Dickie will come up and he's the premier marketer for Joy to Life, so he's going to come up and tell you a little bit about our marketing tools and our walk of life. It's good to be here, and it's great to see Jana looking so well, and that was a great surprise to see her this morning, so it's great. In 1997, I went shopping. I was in the best shape of my life. I was in my 40s. I had just lost about 14 pounds. And you ladies in the room know that when you lose weight like that, you just have to go shopping. So I was standing in a dressing room in Atlanta, Georgia, and all of a sudden, I noticed a little dimple in my left breast. And I thought, well, what could this be? I was in my 40s, for goodness sake, doing well. I touched it, and it was like a marble. And I said, oh boy, this is something. But I still wasn't that worried because I was so young. So, of course, I went home and had it checked out. And the doctor said, yeah, Joy, we better take care of this. We better check it. But did you know you had one in your right breast? I said, what? And he said, yes. So, I take care of my health, and in doing so, I arranged for a mammogram right away. We did the mammogram, and they said, yes, there is something to be concerned about. We want to do a biopsy right this minute. And I said, my husband's out of town. I can't do this by myself. So he came back in town, and we did the biopsy, and they were very kind to let me know the results that very day. And yes, it was breast cancer. And as I got along that path and started that journey, I found out that I had stage 2 breast cancer, bordering on 3, because it had spread to my lymph nodes. I told you that I had mammograms yearly, beginning with Dr. Yao, if any of you remember Dr. Yao. I always had breast exams with Dr. Yao, and then other doctors after that. Mammography is the best tool that we have for early detection. There's no question about it. But in 20% of the cases, mammography fails women. It doesn't show the lump. So I had fibrocystic breasts, and because of that, mammography failed me. And I never did self-exams. So I never checked my breasts. So to you women here today, I want to tell you, self-exam is life-saving. So do it. Learn how to do self-exam. And do it monthly so that you'll know your bodies. It is easy, it's quick, and it can save your life. Anyway, after being diagnosed, we have fabulous doctors in Montgomery. Absolutely fabulous. But I wanted a second opinion because I believe that we all should have second opinions with our health. My choice, along with Dickie, we decided that we would go to MD Anderson for a second opinion in Houston, Texas. Well, when we got there, we just felt embraced. We felt like that's where we should be. So I chose to have my treatment at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas. I had a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. It was a 13-hour surgery, followed by 8 months of chemotherapy. Needless to say, it rocked our world. As you know, a diagnosis like that, anything that's life-shattering to any of us, just absolutely rocks us to the core. But we got on that path. I had wonderful doctors, wonderful family, wonderful friends, the best husband, just everything about it, except for the fact that I had cancer, was perfect. Dickie and I got to thinking that not everybody is so lucky to have the best of everything, including insurance. The cost of my journey was just shy of $1 million. We had great insurance, so we were so lucky, because you know how devastating that could be if you don't have that. So as I went through my journey and began to recover, Dickie and I started thinking, well, gosh, what can we do to give back? And through a series of events and through beating the bushes a little bit and doing some research, we found out that just in the Montgomery area alone, there are thousands of women, and I do mean thousands, I'm not exaggerating, that don't have insurance, that don't have any money, that are working 2 and 3 jobs to support their children and their families. So certainly the money it would cost for a screening, they are not going to give up, because they're trying so hard just to take care of family. So we thought, well, okay, maybe we can pay for a mammogram or 2 and help these women in this area. Well, through another series of events, well, let me back up and tell you, we actually went to a couple of other organizations to give them the idea that maybe we should raise money to help women in this community have free mammograms. And they looked at us and said, well, it sounds good, but how in the world are you going to do it? I don't think we could pull it together. Because we just wanted to go to an organization, give them the idea, and then be the best volunteers for that program. But anyway, through the course of all of that, sometimes God just puts you on a path. You don't know the reason why, but there you go. So they told us we couldn't do it, so we looked at each other and said, well, you know what, let's just try it and see if we can't help a few people. So we did. And through another series of events, someone from the Public Health Department, the Breast and Cervical Early Detection Program, was put in our path. And we told her what we were trying to do. And she said, well, do you know what we do at the Public Health Department? And we said, no. She said, well, we just started in 1996. She was telling us that in about the year 2000. She said, we started in 1996 with a program for women 40 to 49 that couldn't afford breast services, female services. We've got a program that will help those women through the public health department. If you will provide the mammograms, then we can certainly, through Medicaid, if they are diagnosed with anything, we can give them treatment. So Dickie and I looked at each other and said, oh, well, okay, here we go. Because, as I just said, my treatment was so expensive. We knew we could probably raise money to pay for the mammograms, but treatment was just, it was just almost an impossible thing. So our first partner was the breast and cervical program. They provide free breast screenings for women 40 to 49 that can't afford them. And they said that they could use some help. So in 2001, I don't know if any of you were at our kickoff back then. It was at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. They stepped up for us. We kicked off the Joy to Life Foundation. That first year we may have paid for a few mammograms. As we went, we paid the money for the mammograms, and the public health department was very appreciative. Now let's fast forward 15 years later. How it happened, we don't know, but it happened that now we provide breast screenings, mammograms, ultrasounds, biopsies, office visits, whatever a woman needs. We provide that in 67 counties. That's every county in the state of Alabama. So now, and it's not anything that we did particularly. It was the support that people seem to give this cause. Everyone's touched by this. It comes out of the blue, and then everyone's touched. You have a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, a loved one, a wife, a sister. You're just touched. So we've had wonderful support through all of this. We're really happy that we're able now to touch women throughout the state of Alabama. Our partner still continues to be the Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program through the Public Health Department. But instead of giving them a few dollars as we go, we now have a major contract with them. We give them, this year we gave them Dickie, you'll have to help me because Dickie's the numbers guy. $238,000.
Contract for $300,000 a year for 3 years.
Right. We have major contracts with them, and we were able to help them as the Susan G. Komen Foundation helps them, and as they get federal funding. With all of that, still, the breast and cervical program, age 40 to 49, can only reach 20% of the women that need the services just in that age category. So we're going to continue to be strong partners with them. We're going to continue to beat the bushes to help them help those women. We also recently have embarked on ourselves independently helping women under 40. There's actually no organized avenue for women under 40, and women under 40 get breast cancer too. Unfortunately, we are finding out that more and more women under 40 are getting breast cancer. It's terrible. We've paid for screenings for women in their 20s, and I mean 22 years old. And we've, because of our funding, we've helped identify breast cancers in those young women. In 2014, we were able to identify 8 women under 40 that had breast cancer. So we're going to continue to beat the bushes. We're going to continue to raise dollars. Every dollar is impactful to us. Every dollar that y'all raised here today is impactful to us. it matters because $1 turns into 5 and 5 turn into 50 and then 100 and then, my goodness, it's just what we can do with each dollar. We are proud of the way the community has helped us. We are proud of the way the state has come together to help us. We have major contracts with hospitals and providers all over the state. We are helping people that you know, people that you live next door to, people that are your neighbors and your friends, and in many cases your family. So that's a very brief description of what we do at Joy to Life. We appreciate the support we've gotten, and we will continue to try to help as many women as possible, one woman at a time, until our last dollar is in the bank. One last story before Dickie comes up and tells you a little bit about our fundraising programs. Not too long ago, a young woman called the office, extension 1, that's me, and she could hardly speak to me. She couldn't speak to me. She was crying so desperately. And I asked her to please calm down. And okay, she calmed down a little bit. And through her tears, her story was she lived in the Talladega area. And she was homeless. And she was living in her car. And she wasn't a drug addict or what we all have a vision of for people that are homeless. She was a young woman, 25 years old, that just came upon hard times. In a flash, things turned on her. And this woman was living in her car. She and her boyfriend. They had no phone. She had to go into a restaurant to call me. Well, she had a lump in her breast, and she tried to go to a facility to try to get some help. And they turned her away. But they said, well, you know, there's an organization, they're based out of Montgomery. We don't know too much about them, but if you call them, maybe they can help you. Just like that. Maybe they can help you. So she called, and we were able to help her. She did indeed have a lump in her breast. It was not breast cancer, thank God, but it was an abscess in her breast. So terrible. The doctor said she almost had sepsis, which is poison through your blood. So that was a very happy day for Joy to Life. Very happy. We'll never see her again. We'll probably never talk to her again. But we helped her. So for those of us in the office, and we do have a very small staff, that was such a happy day. And that happens a lot for us, because anytime we can help these women, they say that you help one person and you save the world. Well, I think that's the way we all feel, you know. So we at Joy to Life, we appreciate the community. We appreciate what everybody does for us. We are eternally grateful for that. And we'll keep going one woman at a time. Our greatest hope is that tomorrow they'll find a cure for breast cancer. And we can just lock up and go home. That would be the best thing that we could hear. So thank you all for having me today and having Dickie. And he'll just come up and very briefly tell you a few of our programs. But thank y'all so much.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Joy and I really appreciate y'all inviting us. Appreciate David Seitz asking Eric to get in touch with us and talk today. How David knows me is that I've been a stockbroker for 25 years with Wells Fargo Advisors. My boss has been Laura Sykes. She has been with me for 17 years, and I don't know what I'd do without her. She's a wonderful young lady. You know, I was trying to think of a way to describe the feeling of being diagnosed with breast cancer. for a family. And driving here this morning, Joy and I, we built a home on Taylor Road almost 20 years ago. And we've been blessed to have the best of a lot of things. And driving here this morning, the beauty of living on Taylor Road is that you get to wake up every morning and see these beautiful sunrises, and you get to see these beautiful sunsets. Driving here this morning, Joy and I driving down Taylor Road. It was probably about 6:30, and the sun was just coming up, and the sky, I don't know if y'all saw it, was just beautiful. And we passed an opening, you could see the sun coming up. And I said, I wish I had a camera, I'd stop and take a picture of this. And by the time I had got to probably 200 yards down the road, I looked over where it opened up again, and the light had changed, and it wasn't as beautiful as it was. Well, that's how fast your life can change if you're diagnosed with breast cancer. The good thing about it is, there's also a great feeling is that after you go through treatments, and the doctor tells you that everything's going to probably be okay, you're going to do well, you're going to survive. It'd be kind of like Auburn beating Alabama this year, Auburn's struggling, but it would be a great thing if Auburn beat Alabama for the Auburn fans. And it's 100 times better than that feeling to know that that you have come through this awful disease. We started in 2001, as Joy said. We had no clue what we were doing. We just jumped in with both feet and tried to do the best we could do. And we knew that we had to raise dollars to do this. As you could tell from Joy, what Joy's saying is that it takes dollars to run an organization. There's no way around it. We knew that there are a lot of organizations in Montgomery that are already asking the same businesses all over the city for the same dollars. So those dollars get to be smaller and smaller and smaller. So we were visiting our son in California right after Joy's surgery, and he said, I want y'all to come out here and visit me, and I want to take y'all to a walk that's out here called, I think it was Avon Walk, or the Revlon Walk. And we walk into this walk. It was at the Coliseum where USC played. That's where my son went to school. And there must have been 70,000 people at this walk. We've never seen anything like this. And you walk 3 miles, and you ended up walking through a tunnel at the USC stadium, and walk down into this football field with thousands of people and bands and sponsors and supporters, and all the survivors were together, smiling and having a great time. And Joy and I looked at each other and said, we could do this. This could be done in Montgomery. And so, Chief, thanks to your police department, we put on a walk of life. You'll find out about it this year. We put on a walk of life every year. Sergeant Chavez, I don't know if you know, I call him Chief Chavez. I mean, he was wonderful to us through the 15 years that we put this walk on. We started in 2002. It's called the Walk of Life. We started in 2002, and if we had 200 people show up, I was probably counting the dogs and the cats and everybody else that came with them. Fast forward 15 years later, and we have close to 5,000 people show up to a walk. We usually raise anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 at this walk. That's been the most important breast cancer awareness program I think the city does. I think it brings more awareness to people about breast cancer than anything we've ever done. It's grown tremendously, and people love coming to it, and we hope that your businesses that you work with would consider looking at the opportunities that we have to highlight your businesses at our walk with the other 50 sponsors that have been there. The sponsors that have been there for the last 15 years, believe it or not, 90% of the sponsors that started with us are still with us. So they really appreciate what we do for them, and we appreciate what they do for us. Joy and I are then driving. I'm trying to explain how we raise funds. We don't we're a little bit different organization because we kind of think out of the box to get these dollars that we know that everybody's after. So we're driving to Atlanta one day and we're behind a car and in front of us is this yellow tag. What is it? Choose Life tag. There's a yellow Choose Life tag. And we looked at each other and said, why isn't there a pink tag out there? And so I took it, I said, when I get home, I'm gonna call the Department of Transportation and find out how we can get a pink tag, or is there a breast cancer tag in the state? Luckily, there wasn't. We went and met with the LOC committee at the legislature. We got approval to try to get 1,000 people to sign up for our tag. You have to have 1,000 people register for your tag before they'll allow you to have it. Well, I said, that should be easy. Everybody knows about breast cancer. It's probably one of the hardest things we ever did. We must have gone, we ended up getting 1,000 tag maybe in the last of the 12th month that we were trying to do this. You only have 1 year to do it. Today, it took, and to be honest with you, we gave probably 70% of them away just to get it. We wrote them a check for $50,000. We knew we were going to get $40 for every tag back, so we got $40,000 back. We had already sold 250 tags. That's a $10,000, so we knew we were going to get all our money back. We got the tag, we gave them away, and it was almost impossible to give them away. But today, it's the most incredible thing that's ever happened to our organization. At the time, we were providing mammograms for 3 counties. Today, we will sell this year close to 20,000 car tags throughout the state of Alabama. That has allowed us to expand Joy to Life's reach from 3 counties to 67 counties in this state. 100% of the monies that we raise stay here in Alabama. That's really important. We get tired of giving to all these organizations and all this money. They come in and they raise millions of dollars and it leaves this community. Well, there are thousands of women here that are not being helped. George just told you that we only reach 20% of the women in this state. And that means there's 80% of the women not getting the services that we can provide. And hopefully that our new tagline is live here, give here. We want to keep that money in this community and in our state to help these women. The next thing we did to raise funds in the state is that we created a pink trash can. I don't know if you've seen our pink trash can, but it's probably not anything like our car tag, but we've probably sold maybe 2,000 to 3,000 of these trash cans throughout the city. But you know, it's the #1 awareness thing we've ever done. I've never had so many people walk up to me and say, tell me about the pink trash can. You know, it makes people smile. It makes people that are driving through our community see pink trash cans out there. It shows a community that cares about their community. So it's been a great awareness program. We have it in Opelika now. We have it in Enterprise. We just talked to the mayor of Wetumpka last night. We're going to meet with him next week to put it in Wetumpka. So if you don't have a pink trash can, you need one. Did you hear that, Bob?
They've got
It's
2.
okay. It's okay. Do we need to go? Okay. I'm sorry to talk so long.
I want to keep you here for a minute. I just want to, some are going to have to get on to
Okay,
work. But
sure.
Joy, would you come, please? I want to thank y'all so much for being here. And again, to say it's a touching story is obviously an understatement. But on behalf of y'all, on occasion of y'all being here, Rotary, our challenge is to fight polio. We're getting really, really close to eradicating it worldwide. And I wish y'all the same success with breast cancer. And on behalf of the club, this is our 4-way test, which you heard us recite this morning. It's kind of our code. But I would draw your attention to our banner. Be a gift to the world. Now, y'all ought to be Rotarians. That's the kind of thing that y'all are doing. But again, thank y'all so very much for being here. And have some questions. questions from the group, please stay around.
Sure, of
We thank y'all.
course, of
Thank y'all
course.
very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank y'all.
Again,